I promised you it was going to be a very short break, and yes, it is. Welcome back. This is still the morning Crossfire, and the dial is 99.3. It's called Nigeria Info. You are welcome back. You can head back to watch our live feed right now on Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. That's the page right there, and you can see us live right now. Nigeria Info 99.3. The same on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's do this together for the next hour, shall we? And yes, I'm still reveling in the idea, and that is my birthday today. Yes, thank you all for the very warm wishes all morning. I appreciate it. I have a bad flu, coupled with a headache for a birthday. Imagine. But hey, we're going to do this together. And thank you all. Oh, okay, you're heading to Facebook. I see you all. Let's look at 2019 again. We've been doing this for some days. 2019 in retrospect. And today we're focusing on flooding. The flooding matters that we talked about this year. There were quite a number of them because we had flooding issues this year for real. We'll look at flooding and waste management that we talked about in 2019. To be part of this conversation, remember, I've told you this earlier, you can also join us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. We're streaming live also on YouTube. I'll give you the phone numbers. You're calling already. Just hold on a minute. And our website is www.nigeriainfo.fm. You can go there anytime to drop your comments on our conversation and also read up our other news stories that we have for you there. Now, we'll talk about issues of waste collection. We'll talk about issues of dams, overflowing dams. And we'll remember today Adewuni, the young lady who got killed when she was washed away by flooding in Lagos in one of the manholes in the state. We would remember her also today. Now, as part of our conversation opening the year in 2019, that was one of the things we started with. We talked about waste management in Lagos State, and we looked at the roles of Loma, we looked at the roles of Visionscape, as well as the burden of filth everywhere. Remember, I shared a video last week, and it got quite a number of views when I drove past heaps. I mean, that thought still is in my head. Heaps of plastics. Plastic bottles. I saw another heap yesterday. I believe they were brought out from drainages. I'm sure those drainages were already blocked. I mean, you can't have all of those dirt, all of those plastics in the drainage and it's not blocked. Well, we talked about this last year in May 15th to be precise. We discussed flood alert and the need to prepare. We talked about the government and the citizens facing water challenges and preparing for flood. There was a flood alert there. 2 months after the conversation in August, we looked at flood control and management. You see, in November, on the 7th of November, we also discussed manholes on Lagos roads. And I still saw some driving in this morning. And also, we talked about the Lagos budget 2020 on the 11th, where we also touched on flooding because the government had some talk about flooding in their budget. In September, on the 25th, before we commemorated World Cities Day on the 31st of October, we talked about climate change and the future of Nigeria. When we asked you whether Lagos is a mega city or a mega slum, can you remember? That was a big question. Is Lagos a mega city or a mega slum? Our conversation on manholes on Lagos roads, that's maintenance of those holes, on the 7th of November, also talks about this issue of a mega city or mega slum. Finally, we had an awesome conversation on the 22nd of November when we looked at the budget. And we told you that the Lagos state government earmarked 9 billion naira to tackle flood with plans to embark on massive desilting. That's a method of unclogging drainages by the removal of sand washed away by flowing water. This is a plan to be done on major drain systems across the state. Before we move along, let's remember also that the private sector participation, that's the PSP, and I've had issues with the PSP over the past few weeks. I've been calling them. Waste management operators they were in operation, remember, before the leadership of Akinwumi Ambode in 2015. By 2017, Ambode faulted the operational capacity of PSP, cancelling the contract and saying that, I quote, PSP has not shown the capacity to deal with the enormous waste generated in Lagos State. That's according to a report by Premium Times. Ambode had promised a better waste management strategy, which brought Lagosians into Visionscape. Can you remember Visionscape? The Visionscape method was introduced that same year. Previously, Ambode has asked Loma to stop collecting waste bills. Y'all remember? Now, Visionscape works in partnership with the Lagos State government, which was meant to be a long-term investment and to provide innovative solution to waste collection in Lagos, while developing a much-needed waste management structure to finally move out of the scene. Well, Loma was initially asked to step in. Loma was brought back. PSP was brought back. And, well, I'm not certain what I can say about waste management in Lagos. How have we fared? I've reminded you of the highlights of what we talked about. Let me give you the phone numbers and hear from you. Can you remember these conversations we had in 2019? And I'll give you some more gist. If you want to call and join this conversation, here are the numbers now.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Right. When we talk about flooding, we have waste management also as the twin sister. Most of the flooding around the city is caused by bad waste management. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Many and better years.
What did you say?
Many and better years.
Amen. Thank you so much.
And we're waiting for cake.
You are. You have to head over here.
Okay, let's leave that for now. Okay. It's a wonderful topic you brought up again this morning.
Thank you.
And it's really touching when one thinks about all those times we've talked about it and yet nothing's been done about it. First of all, my name is Bola. I'm calling from Amward office.
Great to have you here, Bola. Thank you.
The problem we have with waste management is not just one person problem. It's a general problem.
Right.
The people, the organizations involved. Beyond just bringing out the piles from the drainages, there's more to it. Packing it at that instant. Waste management organizations, they do a great job. Pack out the drainage, the field. They dump it by the roadside, close to the drainage again.
And then it ends back right in the drainage.
It ends back right in the drainage, either rain or no rain. Now, another thing I want to call up people's attention to is the Loma attendants, cleaners. Because I witnessed one at Bega, and I still have the video of it, where a Loma personnel was in my car. She was sweeping the dirt, the field into the drainages.
Wow! Oh, wow! Instead of packing them up, she was sweeping into the drainage.
I did a video. I still have the video.
Can you share on Twitter and tag Nigeria Info?
Yes, of course I can.
Absolutely.
So immediately I stepped out of the car and I approached the woman. I told her what I did. I said, "This is wrong. You're not supposed to do that." So
she's probably trying to make her work faster by just stripping it off and getting away with it.
These are the problems we're having. And I hope the government is going to pay attention to that.
I do hope so too. I do hope so too. Thank you very much, Bola, for calling. Right, he remembers very vividly, and this is what happens when we look at when we do retrospects. You'll be amazed that we've talked about this issue. Look at that. We talked about this issue about 5-6 times on the Morning Crossfire in 2019. Where did that get us, really? Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Abayomi.
Abayomi, welcome to the show.
Okay, some people for the season. I'm
Wish
happy.
you. Wish you same.
Yeah, on the issue of Loma, I think you guys also need to also educate the people. I'm not holding brief for the government, but in the last 2-3 months, intensive work has been done by Loma. Because I noticed that they won't go as far as clearing the waterways, as in all those, the water, the blocked waters, all those small waters. Loma officials go there to clear the path, clear the rubble, clear dirt, and all of that. But all the same, citizens need to be educated on how to dispose waste. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect the Sanwo-Olus, the governors, and all those people.
Right.
The people in the society. Because when they come, they don't affect them. They come back to us. We go to market, look at people dispose waste as if they don't care. There should be continuous separation of the media and even the government.
My question is, if you listen to my intro, we talked about this on the Money Crossfire about 6-7 times last year. Every year we talk about waste management, yet people keep throwing their dirt in the gutters. How else do we explain this to them?
Maybe enforcement will be done. If they apprehend or catch 3 or 4 people and they are properly prosecuted or jailed, I think that will somewhat challenge to others.
Right.
If they catch somebody now, so they are no government. No, when they apprehend you, you are taken to court or you are taken to jail. Maybe you spend one month there. The next time you come back, you won't do that again.
Thank you very much. He's saying we should probably make this punitive. So if you throw your waste in the drainage or by the road, you should be arrested and made to maybe pay some fine. Do you think that would work? Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning. What's your name?
Wemimo.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday is the beginning of new decade.
That's fine.
I wish you, your management, more blessings this year.
Thank you so very much.
My name is Prince YS, calling from Amu Dolphin.
Welcome to the show. How clean is Amu Wadofi?
Oh, we are very peaceful, no problem at all. But when you talk of refuge, it's a big problem. We are going from my Kilda to Koko. In fact, everywhere is little refuge. And, they say Loma is back, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yes.
Did they back with Oresha here?
Oh, no, there's a new CEO of Loma now.
Because during the time of Fasola, Mr. Oresha is in charge. And the man performed brilliantly. Why I'm asking for this man, he know how to do it. Because when you still go around Lagos is dirty. And as it is right now, maybe they need to build more dump sites. The existing one now, it may not be enough. And you're supposed to appoint more hands. Because when the time of Fasola, Lagos was so clean, the Loma we are talking about, headed by Oresha then. There's one man now that came back now. That is Osanyi Tolu. Which is that man came back to that organization, is performing. And if they bring this man back again, Oresanya, to head Norma, and Norma will work.
Right. Thank you very much. Let me keep it short, please. I need to remind you of some of the highlights of what we talked about. This will help you in also sending in your comments. Now, when we talked about waste management last year, we talked about the conflicting data on the tons of waste generated by Lagosians. And also issues of waste handling, which has certainly led to changes in management operations. But there is no data or very little data, and that data shows that Lagos has been quite excellent in managing waste compared to other mega cities, including the roles of the PSP, Visionscape, and even Loma. But now that they're back in operation, if we compare with other cities, do we believe that we are doing well for a population of about 20 million people? Now, during our conversation in January 2019, we had then the former MD and consultant of Loma, Ola Oresoya, who our last callers mentioned, who was one of the guests on the show then. He talked about the tons of waste and why Loma was asked to step aside. Why was Loma scrapped? Here's what Oresonya told us then.
We don't generate up to 30,000 tons a day in Lagos.
Yeah, but Mr. Mr. Shabi was in our studio more than 3 times to give us this data. So it's being quoted here.
Okay, fine. Let's do that really. That was generated.
Can you tell us what the amount is?
Yes, what you generate in Lagos between the period you quoted, I happen to be the CEO in Lagos then. I think we have about 8,000 tons max a day. And the efficiency rate was much more than 27%. You will have noticed even at that period that Lagos got award for having a clean city. And the streets were better around that time. You build your story on a very good record. And as for the last count then, if you go on the Loma website, some of these data were displayed. The efficiency rate was almost 85% after that time. The white Loma was asked to step aside and Visionscape to go in there. I left government in 2015. Yes, just after serving the state for 30 years, I was in charge for. Now, stepping aside in 2015, and the new government then wanted something better after that time. So that was the best we could do then, in 2015. And the state was aspiring to have something better than that. And that informed bringing in the new concessionaire there.
Well, the plan was to make things better, and that's why Loma was asked to step aside while the idea of Visionscape was brought in. Do you think still that Visionscape was a bad idea? I don't think it was ultimately a bad idea. Maybe a good idea, poorly implemented. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Wemimo. My name is Emmanuel.
Welcome, Emmanuel.
Before I go on to what you are saying, please, can you just help me reach out to the emergency unit? Accident just happened before Quadry now, and like 6 or 7 people are dead now.
You know what I need you to do is to drop this line and call 112 immediately.
112, right?
Please do that right now.
All right, let me do that, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. If you see an accident or an emergency, please call 112 and give them the details. It's faster than calling a radio station most times. Okay, you can tell us what happened, but please immediately first call the emergency number, and that's 112 or 767. Please drive safely anywhere you are. Please drive safely. Okay. Now, let's see who's here. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, this is I Square Okori from Ojo.
Your name is?
I Square Okori from Ojo.
Welcome to the show.
Yes. Let me say Happy New Year to all the staff of the Nigerian Info.
Thank you so much.
For me, let me say it automatically, without any sort of contradiction, that you guys did well with the quality of services you gave us all to last year. And I must express it. Now, I think before I will just drop a little comment, I think we Nigerians must be careful with the way we drive this because of this Ramadan, not to be too, moving too speed on the road. We must be very careful. Now, let me go back to this waste management. The major cities in this country, we continue to have challenge in handling waste in this country. This is because it involves good policy. It involves technology. Like most of this waste could be recycled. Most of them could be used to generate electricity. But we keep on heaping them day by day. Now, we look at the environment. Having the wrong people in place, like all this canal could be cleaned, dredged. It can be a moving way for this, small this thing, slime roads, making the city have good aesthetic. So having the wrong people in place, those who don't have the capacity, who don't have the will, is in place. And if you cannot manage waste in a country or a situation whereby you have good people, good minds, because this thing has to do with technology to handle it and clean up the environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling. He insists that it's about the people we put there to solve these issues. When we asked the question, is Lagos a mega city or a mega slum? We had a guest with us in the studio then, Professor Akimbamijo Olumuyiwa, who is of the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, all the way from Akure, Futa. We asked, how do we rate Lagos? We talked about the UN and World Urban Campaign on UN Habitat. And the big question is, do you agree that Lagos is a megacity or mega slum. Here are some of the things he explained to us then.
When we talk about mega cities, the basic characteristic is that it has a population of 10 million plus. So on the basis of population, Lagos is essentially a mega city. But just like you have asked me, is it only population that makes a city a city? No, it's far more than that. And in all honesty, I wouldn't want to say that Lagos is doing too badly, but the fact remains that there is room for improvement. I agree fully that Lagos is a mega city. It is a status that is ascribed to it by virtue of the population number that Lagos carries. A city that has close to 21 million by the National Population Census of 2016 has no other status other than a mega status. And as such, Lagos is a mega city. Any other agglomeration of human beings less than 10 million, yes, we can look at those ones as, merely cities, not yet attaining the mega status.
It says in terms of population, Lagos is a mega city. But beyond that, beyond the number, about 21 million people in Lagos. Do you think, we're entering into another year. Let's look at 2019. Is Lagos faring well as a city? What are the things you would like to see in a city? Do you have those things in the Lagos of today? The phone numbers again are all yours to join the conversation now.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Hello, good morning. Hello. Your line is pretty noisy. Good morning. Okay, can't hear you either. Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I need you to speak a bit louder.
Okay,
good morning.
Sorry, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, this is better.
Okay, good. My name is Michael. I'm speaking from Vegas.
Welcome, Michael.
Okay, good. First of all, I'm trying to call on the basis of the... can you hear me?
I can hear you, Michael. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The first show program we had on the waste management thing, I think my notion is this. Look at Unilag. That's a very prime example of how waste management works. Mm-hmm. If there is a bin everywhere, like...
Sorry about that. Wasn't me. Please try again. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm so excited I got in this morning.
Good to have you too. What's your name?
My name is Nyoju.
Welcome, Nyoju.
Okay. The topic that is on discussion this morning on the radio is a very interesting one, and I think it's the one that we all need to be very inclusive with. The level of advocacy that is in town is not enough. That's one. We need to have a very robust legislative that is also lobbying for the right policies to be made. I think I agree with one of the callers that said that the punitive measures should be introduced, but not maybe the way he's talking about it or sending people to jail because the prisons are already congested and all that.
Absolutely. We don't need more people there.
But we need to reinstate community service, like literally community service where nobody is too big to serve. If you throw trash in my office, I compel people in my office so we separate all our waste. And if you see the amount of plastics, single-use plastics that just 5 of us generate in a month,
wow,
it's surprised. And I'm serious. And I've said about this before. I've spoken to Mr. Majeko to me about it. So to cut the long story short, I think that our advocacy needs to be a lot better. And then we should reintroduce community service. There are a lot of offenses that happen in a metropolis like this that doesn't need to end up in the court.
In fact, if we send many of them for community service, they'll help us clean up the gutters.
Because yes, that's the thing. We will now use them, those people that flout the laws, to now clean up the environment or to serve as advocate agents. When you go to, so if they, for example, I hope I'm not taking too long. So if, for example, if you catch a drainage, dropping stuff in the drainage, so they book you for community service. They know where you work. Don't show up. They'll come to your office. Then you go to Maroko, you go there and go and do advocacy there. They will train you first of all. They will send you to those remote areas where you now go and teach people why they should not, how they should be responsible with their waste. By You cannot come back and come and
No, you can't be the same. I totally agree. Thank you. And someone resonates your thoughts on Facebook. We're live on Facebook, by the way. Ifeanyi D. says, let us ban companies producing plastic bottles and plastic bags, pure water sachet. Get rid of these and you will have a cleaner Lagos. Many countries have banned the use of plastics. Nigeria is not even, I'm not sure we've started considering that. And plastic is one of our biggest issues in the country. Good morning. Okay, you're in a very noisy place. Please get to a quieter place and call us back. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Morning.
Yeah. My name is Onward from Surulere.
Welcome, Onward.
Yeah. The issue of dirtier Lagos and the way the environment is because of impunity and the lack of respect of laws of land. And to my own suggestion, it could be better managed with the issue of traffic offenses that have been coming up every time and people are complaining. If there's a law that makes it that anybody that is being caught, there should be a tribunal standing by to prosecute and eventually jail the person, and then the offense will be you will wear a cloth boldly written traffic offender and then serve as a traffic manager for at least 3 or 6 months. In that same vein,
I like it. I like the sound of it. Sounds very good.
Vein, no matter whom ox is God, once you are arrested, apprehended, a tribunal is by the roadside waiting.
Now your line is acting up. But I really like that line of thought. If you're a waste offender or you're a traffic offender, then we create a uniform for you. You wear it and you stay on the road for 6 months, 6 good months, saying, I am a traffic offender. And then you control traffic. Sounds pretty exciting. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning. Can you put off your radio quickly?
Well, I'm James presently. I'm not in here.
All right. Please tell me your name and go ahead.
My name is Ayo. My compliment of the season and happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I just want to digress a little bit. I just want to make a correction especially on that Ekun and Amatekun. Ekun, Tiger, Amatekun is leopard.
Oh, okay.
I want to correct.
Thank you very much. So if you missed out on that gist, it came in on the front pages today. There's a security outfit for Southwest, and it's called Amoteku. So I called it spider or spider web. Someone then corrected me on Facebook and said it's tiger. Another person says no, it's leopard. And I see also on Twitter, on Facebook, Bakare Adisa says Ekum is tiger, while Amoteku is leopard. Okay, thank you all. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
So, anyway, I wanted to ask how old are you now?
What did you say?
I wanted to ask how old are you now, but you're not going to answer me.
Why won't I answer you? If you ask nicely, I just might tell you.
Woman will say I'm 14 plus. They never
I've already put. There's nothing big. I don't say a big deal with my age. It's all over social media. There's no big deal.
I saw your picture. You're fine.
Shay, thank you.
You see, this country. Let me put it this way. That just don't inside canal from gutter. I blame government. When government we after they are spending 1 billion naira per kilometer, and they just put it in it and they didn't cover it, and they didn't put a wasting product back. You know, before they used to give us waste back.
Yes.
Besides bus stop, they cancelled the project. You give us gutter, they didn't cover it. And you know the society. That almost 80% of Nigeria were ignorant and illiterate. So where did they want them to put it? I think I told government this morning. If you want to do gutter or drainage, cover it. Put just only one channel where you can remove it maybe next time. You do gutter, you do street, you do road, you leave them open. And we are a generation that buy bottles of sachet water. So we drop it there. So it's government that replace this money. They are travel all over the world, like the one that Elche is doing now, say, don't send Nigeria. They know how the system works. But when they get... Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Let me take a final call before I head off for a break. Good morning. Okay, I need to try again. Please remember when you call to turn off your radio. That's the only way our communication can work. Today we're looking at, again, 2019 in retrospect. We're looking at issues of waste management and flooding that we had in 2019. Interestingly, we talked about these issues about 7-8 times in 2019 on the Morning Crossfire show. And I mean, how well have we fared despite all of that talk, all of the great, fantastic guests that we brought to you, all of the amazing conversations that we had on the show? Have we improved, both coming in from the people and the government? Quick break right now. We're live on Facebook for those of you who want to join. You can watch us now. And you can Femi Taiwo on Facebook says this man's suggestion is very good, like wearing a cloth written prisoner on it. Yeah, like if you throw waste in the wrong place, we'll make you wear a cloth that writes waste offender big on your back and your front, and then you clean the gutters for 6 months. I like the sound of it. We'll be back for more conversations after the break. I'm Wemimo Adewuni. Don't go away.
More talk, news and sports after this.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info. From your number one talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff.
The looming danger of climate change. On climate change, Nigeria stands resolutely with the international community in observing agreed carbon emission targets, which I signed in 2015. We have since issued 2 sovereign-grade bonds and have added an additional 1 million hectares of forested land, taking our total forest coverage to 6.7% through collective national effort. As we advocate and strive for inclusion within our societies, we must also ensure inclusion prevails in our collective action as members of the international community. That is why we support the expansion of the Security Council to reflect the diversity and dynamics of the 21st century.
That was the President Muhammadu Buhari when he visited. It was at the United Nations Climate Action Summit in 2019. And he spoke on climate change. This summit held in New York. And let's remind you that he said at the summit titled "A Race We Can Win, a Race We Must Win." Over there, he announced plans and initiatives by his administration to reverse the negative effects of climate change in Nigeria, highlighting ways on how we can make that possible. How can we make this possible? And we talked about dams. in Nigeria then. Many communities in Nigeria lost their homes and farmlands, and this happens annually to flooding. And research has revealed that in Nigeria, dams are built for the supply of potable water to those communities. E.g., we have the Eleyele, Ashejire dams in the southwest. And also we have the Kanji, Jeba and Shiroro dams in Niger State for the generation of hydroelectric power. For irrigated agriculture, we have some included in this. You have Bakolori Dam in Sokoto State and Oyon Dam, right, in Ogun State. Other uses of dam include silt, retention, fishery, transportation, tourism, flood control. We can go on. We talked about flooding last year, and we talked about the issues of dams. Nigeria has neighbors, and some of our neighbors are not very nice. That's a nice way of putting it when they open their flood. We talk about flood control and management in August 2019, and there was so much to talk about regarding climate change and how flooding has affected 34 out of 36 states in Nigeria. We also referenced Nigeria's Meteorological Agency's report, which says the flooding is becoming more regular in Nigeria. We gave timeline of serious flooding that have occurred in the country from climate change over the years, rendering millions of people homeless. Millions.
When you're trying to solve environmental issues for sustainability, it's very important to have an integrated approach. So the integrated approach means the government has a role to play, the NGOs have a role to play, professional associations have a role to play. So we as individuals, we also have a role to play. We know that even in Lagos, we're generating a lot of waste. How can we reduce what we even generate? There are recycling activities going on. There are recycling service providers. Do we patronize those ones? So each person has a role to play, like I said. And if we work together, that's what solves it. Not just waiting for the government to do something, waiting for the agencies to do something, or waiting for professional organizations.
Right. We had then, you listen to the voice of Agarese Ojelede, who was one of our guests then. And she was from the World Safety Organization. And that's what she said about everybody participating in protecting the environment. She talks about waste recycling centers. Do we patronize them? You generate a lot of plastics. What do you do with those plastics? Do you throw them away as regular as other ways to generate, or do you give them to recyclers? We also had Achike today then with us on the show, who also has the message on what people need to do themselves and how we can better manage our sewage system.
The issue of ignorance among our people, which has also contributed so much negatively, because ultimately at the end of the day, they are the victims of the negative practices that some of them, have adopted over time. In the first place, we do not have proper central sewage system, proper flooding control in place in this country. And they also have a duty to partner with government.
We don't have very good flooding control. That was generally the agreement on the show that day. Well, we don't have good control, yet we are still dumping the waste in the gutter. So let me ask you, do you patronize these people? Do you take your plastic to recyclers? I know that one is going to throw you. Where does your plastic end? All the plastic you generate in your home, where does it end? I'm talking about you as a person, because this is one of the things contributing to flooding in Nigeria. And like you heard, the Meteorological Agency has warned that we're beginning to have more flooding than usual in the country. Where does your waste end? Your plastic especially, where do you throw it? While we were talking about the impact of flooding, we also talked about Lagos, and we had then someone from NEMA, the spokesperson for NEMA then, Ibrahim Familoye, on poor drainage system in Lagos State. We talked about issues around Itafaji. Remember, it was one of the things that played out in the building collapse at Itafaji then. We had a conversation on urban planning, housing, safety, planning and rescue operations in March. And we made reference to drainages while responding to a question on further prevention of building collapse. You can see the relationship between flooding and building collapses? Well, here's what the NEMA spokesperson Ibrahim Familoye said then.
In Lagos Island, most of the drainages were not available. And in the local government officials need to carry out a lot of activities. The Lagos State government will look at it positively.
You heard that. On Lagos Island, there's almost zero drainage system. So let me ask you, on your street, tell me where you live and tell me what's the drainage like in your area and what are you doing about it as a person living in that community? Where does your waste end? So on the first half of the show, you've made complaints about the system not working well enough. So where does your waste end? The waste you generate in your house, especially the plastics. Tell me when you call these numbers now.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Yes, this is Nigeria Info. We are listening. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Morning and Happy New Year to you.
I wish the same.
The question.
This is Wemimo.
Okay, Wemimo. You speak alike. You speak alike.
So I've heard. So I've heard.
God bless you. God bless you. Yes, I appreciate your program this morning. And always I appreciate you because you bring out the best, some of the best programs, on the air.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, on this waste management topic, you see, we Nigerians, we are not doing ourselves the best. Why am I saying this? Oftentimes I see educated men, educated women, so educated men, educated women, people you look at, people responsible. They after drinking their minerals, they throw this thing on the bare road, on the road, and they don't even have any conscience at all. And it pains me when I see this because how can somebody responsible throw something on the floor, paper?
It bothers me myself. I mean, the question I ask is, this is not water. It would not disappear. When you throw paper on the floor, it won't disappear. You throw a bottle on the floor, it would not disappear. Where do you expect it to go?
You said?
Where do we expect it to go when we keep throwing everything on the floor?
That is the question. So in my own compound, what we do with this bottle is when we drink all these minerals on bottle, then we gather it and burn it. I burn in my compound. My wife do burn it. Even myself, I used to say burn it. I tell my family they should not throw something on the floor. So this morning as I listened to you, I saw somebody said. Anybody that is caught, we should have a mobile court on the road. Anybody that is caught, put something on the floor, he should be arrested. Then
give them a uniform. Give them a uniform.
Yes, uniform for 6 months. Right. That 6 months, I'm afraid that it's on the high side. It should be 3 months.
Okay.
Then the government itself is not doing the best because. Now, I'm speaking from Ijare on John. There's no single waste management container that you can put something. Let the government put
enough containers.
Enough containers. And you should mandate all these producers of all these minerals, bottled waters, plastic. They should mandate them to provide all these plastic on. Where you can dispose
waste bins,
waste bottles, bottles of minerals and all that.
Right. Thank you very much. Now let me shock you. Do you know that plastic takes centuries? Centuries to denigrate. It takes about 400 years. So. How much of the plastic we use? We need to be asking ourselves questions. Isn't it time we totally put a ban on the use of plastics and plastic bags? we've had this conversation quite a number of times on the show, but it looks like Nigerians are not ready. Are we just used to plastic bags? Aren't we thinking of alternatives right now? Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Chidbem calling from Lagos Island.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And I just played something about the Lagos Island from Ibrahim Farinloye. Lagos Island not having drainages.
Exactly. It's terrible. I told you, I stayed there and I had to call in because it's really terrible. You know, we were talking about plastics, we're talking about bottles and nylons and all that. But the truth of the matter is even, you know, these takeaway packs for food, more often than not, you find it littered everywhere. And it's really terrible because it goes into whatever it is we have and we call drainages on Lagos Island, and it blocks the whole thing up. So when it rains, it's terrible. You know, finding your way across Lagos Island, it's really bad.
Right now, what happens to the waste generated on Lagos Island currently? What does it go to?
Honestly, we just don't know. The best you could possibly do is because the trucks from Loma or Visionscape or whatever it is it's called now, don't come into the street. So you're forced to take your bin out of the street to the expressway, and that doesn't work because most people don't even know the routine.
Do you know when they come? Do they notify you?
That's the problem. We don't. If you're lucky, you see them. If not, that's just it. So we are forced to use these guys with trucks. And more often than not, when you pay them to dispose, they just go somewhere and, offload their trucks and, they're back on the streets again.
So they clean up your area, they could dump it elsewhere. Wow. No. Try call again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you. What's your name?
This is Jacobson calling.
Welcome, Jacobson. Where do you stay?
That's from Alagbado.
Great. Where does your waste end?
My waste?
Yes.
Yeah, it's with the Loma.
But
I have some things to say about polythene waste.
Right.
Yes, because your statement on how many years it takes it to denigrate is actually correct. But the point is, if we want to take care of plastics and polythene waste, we should monetize it.
Monetize it? How does that work?
You monetize it. That is to say, if I have a waste, I remember those days when we used to have bottles. Mostly consumables that come in bottles, breakable. And when they come, we wait for those guys that come to our houses, knocking bottles together, they call it ololo, something like that, and they come, they pay, they buy it from you, and they take it to the industry where it is being recycled back for use.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you now talk about it, you think about it as well, because right now, I don't know how many recycling industries we have in Lagos, or even in Nigeria.
Well, we have quite some. Maybe they are small, but we have quite a number in Lagos, I know.
Yes, the demand and supply. When you
Right.
consider demand and supply chain, you realize that they are handicapped.
So are you saying that we should be paying people to bring in their plastics?
Of course. How do they access their raw materials?
But right now, if you take plastics with these companies, they pay you for them. You know that?
If I have plastic bottles, but the other one, the supply chain, how does those raw materials get to those industries?
Right.
Who are the middlemen? Does Loma have an agreement or something like a collaboration with those industries?
Thank you very much. You've raised very big questions. And what has happened is many of these recycling companies are at one end of the chain. The consumers are at the other end. So question is, how do we link up the consumer and these recycling plants? Because if we all have to keep taking our plastics to the recycling plants, it's going to be a mess. So middlemen, how would that work? Good morning.
Good morning, Wemimo.
Morning to you.
My name is Mrs. Folonsha. I'm calling from Egbeda.
Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, I love the topic this morning.
Thank you.
I really want to contribute on this issue of how we deal with our waste from the plastic bottles.
Right.
You're talking about we moving away from the use of plastic bottles and this sachet water.
Yes.
For now, I don't think I know of any alternative. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't know. But I will appreciate it if Nigerians can embrace this recycling business. It's very, very lucrative. Like in my house, the sachet nylon we use, we recycle it. My husband has a recycling factory. Do you understand? So we pack it together and make sure everything is packed together. Then we send it for recycling in the factory. Then the bottles, the plastic bottles, there is a bucket that comes. We gather them. There are buckets, they come, they pick them up. They take them for recycling. Nigerians should embrace recycling business. It's very, very lucrative.
So how much, let me get this. So like about how much do you get for sending your sachet out and the bottles?
I don't sell it. I just told you my husband has a recycling factory where they take them.
Oh, I see. I
You
see.
understand?
So it's like you are plowing it back into the family business.
Yes, it's very, very lucrative. Nigerians should look into that. We should turn our waste to wealth. We are complaining no business, no money in Nigeria. That's an area people should look into.
Right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Folorunsho. You made a fantastic point. Let's turn this waste into wealth, can we? Now, plastic waste is one of the many types of waste that can take so long to decompose. Normally, some plastic items take up to 1,000 years to decompose in landfills. So that Olushosu, if your plastic ends there, it might take 1,000 years for your bottle of water to decompose. And plastic bags, which we use every day, all those nylon bags, take up to between 10 and 1,000 years to decompose. Bottles take about 450 years to decompose. What is that telling us? Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, this is Oladipo.
Welcome.
From Ilopeja at the moment.
Welcome to the show.
Okay. I want to toe the line of the, I think, two callers before me
Okay.
that spoke about monetizing waste. I remember I discussed this at the forum last year. And as much as we want to make our environment clean, whatever kind of waste, if we monetize it, that PSP comes, because even our food and all those waste, they are bio waste that can be used for fertilizer. Our bottles, our cans, plastics, and all of that. If PSP comes and they have a waste cleaning machine by their truck that people weigh it, you have probably an account and then the gram or whatever goes into it, and at the end of the month or the quarter or whenever you want it, maybe 1 kilogram is costing 100 naira or something. You'll be surprised that they will start selling people's waste. Everywhere will be clean.
But now we're paying PSP operators. Maybe an option would be that they balance out. So if you have waste of 1,000 naira and your bill is 1,500, you just pay the remaining 500. If you have plastic worth 1,000.
The truth of the matter is we shouldn't even be paying for waste, because when this waste is being collected, they transform it into getting into other products. So, for instance, our bio waste can be transformed into fertilizer. They sell it and they make money from it. So
you are saying we should not be paying to get our waste picked up?
Absolutely.
But how would that work?
If that is what I'm saying, if we have a proper business mentality towards waste to wealth, you will understand that our waste becomes raw materials and
Well, that's quite a point. Let me see what you think about this. We shouldn't be paying to get our waste picked up? Why? Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Nefo is my name.
What's your name again?
Nefo.
Nefo, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
I want to contribute to what the last teller said about monetizing the waste system.
Right.
Yeah, there's this process I want to bring into the equation now.
Okay.
In Germany, there are machines, they're like ATM machines, where you go to put in your plastic bottles. Okay? So people come there every day, put in their plastic bottles, the machine generates a receipt. and they go and cash it out elsewhere. That's money for them. And you cannot see plastic bottles lying around anywhere. Except once you drop it, somebody already picks it up because it's money. So I believe if we should monetize our waste process, people will be willing to clean up and make money from it. Now, those machines are managed by the recycling companies. They pay you directly. They are not paying somebody to pay you. Okay? So once you generate your receipt, you cash it out and you move along. So now,
sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah. Then we are talking about bad roads in Nigeria. There are roads abroad entirely made out of plastic.
Absolutely.
They are not made out of any other thing, just plastic.
And imagine, because it takes so long for plastic to decompose, the road would last.
Yeah. So instead of governors looking for money where to how to fund one contract or the other, or where to get money to fix roads, and all our roads are all bad, why don't you channel your strength to converting most of these roads to plastic?
Fantastic idea, I must tell you.
The problem is sometimes how people don't think outside the box.
Absolutely.
So I believe that monetization will really help, and it will go a very long way.
Thank you so much, Naifo. You've made a fantastic point. Let me tell you more about that Germany. I had to go open it up immediately. If you buy a bottle of water in Germany right now, you pay a deposit, not just for the water you're buying. You pay a deposit. So aside buying the water, you pay some money. And when you return the plastic, you have to return the plastic, and then you get your money back, or you put it in the bottle recycling machine, and then you get your deposit back. And bottle recycling machines are usually located at the entrance of supermarkets. So if you put a bottle into the round hole, the machine will spin it round to scan the barcode, which is on your bottle. The bottle goes into the machine, displays the amount of money that you will get back. If you put more than one bottle, keep putting them in, and then your money comes back. You get your money back. The machine prints your receipt. You keep the receipt, okay? You always keep your receipt. The amount at the bottom is the cash you will get back for recycling your bottles. Sounds very, very fantastic. The phone lines are still buzzing. I like all the ideas you brought on the table today. Let me squeeze in a final call very quickly. Good morning. Oh, your radio is too loud. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Wemimo.
Morning. I have just 30 seconds. Can you do all that?
Yeah, I actually just want to toe the line of the last two callers and say, see, government needs to invest in the right things. Stop blaming the people for what they cannot handle. You need to invest. All this monetization involves investment. And then the Lagosians too, we need to vote for governors that wants to do the right thing. When the Vision Scape was brought in, it was because they had money to invest. But people said, no, let Loma continue. Loma does not have money to do all this. All these PSPs don't have enough money to invest. Look at their trucks, their whole trucks. This we need to bring in investors that can do these things and allow a government that wants to do it. Question the new government coming in. This new government coming in, they didn't promise anything on waste. And look at what you are getting. So what are we expecting to get when they never promised anything?
Right, thank you very much. I have to keep it there. And I must say that you have been fabulous. I mean, look at all the ideas that we've put together on the show this morning. Thank you all. Let's keep pushing these ideas. Let's keep talking on social media. I'm up on Twitter. It's my birthday today, so I'm going to have a drink on myself. Yes. And I have a cold. Please, thank you for bearing with me today. Thank you all for the fantastic ideas. We have more coming up on the show tomorrow morning. We're still looking at 2019 in retrospect. And tomorrow, I'll be here with you again. Sheriff is away for 2 days. I was away for 2 days. But I'll be away from next week for 2 full weeks. You're right. I'll be taking my leave, well-deserved leave, for 2 weeks, but that will be next week. But I'll be here with you again tomorrow morning. If you'd like to come along with me, because I've worked with you to raise some money for children living with cancer, if you want to come along with me on Sunday to visit those children, please send me a mail at visitwithwemimo@gmail.com. Visitwithwemimo@gmail.com. We're going to Luth on Sunday to go give them the donation. If you want to bring gifts for the children, please feel free. Let me know what you want to bring when you send a mail. Visitwithwemimo@gmail.com. Thank you all. Have a fabulous holiday if you're still on holiday, and I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning at 6. Don't go away.
24 hours in a day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's a lot of time. We fill it with the best in talk. From the morning crossfire to the money, business, and economy show, down to the midday dialogue, the lunchtime magazine, hard facts, and so much more. Just for your listening pleasure. Your number one news, talk, and sports station. The station for everybody.
Everybody in Nigeria listens to Nigeria Info.
The headline.